Good day, hi, and welcome. Listen. Okay, that's what happens after the first run. Today is day one of work and made it there, made it back. A few funky things happened. I figured out what that was down there. That was your throttle body sensor light. And mind you, this vehicle's been sitting for like probably 7-8 months, right? Without really driving. But I got it out there, probably a good, yeah, we'll say about 15-minute drive there, 15-minute drive back. But listen, that sounds pretty smooth. Running a lot smoother. I think it was just credit. My check gauges light came on, and this thing goes ding, kind of like my Ford does once in a while. Now, mind it is kind of low in oil. The oil is dirty, and I'll be changing that hopefully Sunday or Monday. We'll see. But look, 800 RPM, 500, 800, 700 RPM idle. That, I think I know what that is. That's either because of the, I still got a bit of an air bubble. Got to work out there, so I got brakes. I don't have metal truck running brakes yet, so it's not the brake pads. The brake pads are phenomenal. I still got to adjust the emergency brake a little bit more. Well, I got an emergency, but that's probably the emergency brake little nub that, see, obviously my parking brake is on. But yeah, so I got to bleed the brakes again. I gotta figure out. I think Paul was. I remember riding in this truck and hearing the thing ding, and Paul always thought it was the door popping open from the dome light coming on, and then when the door pops open, you hear ding, kind of like your door's open. You numbnut. But it might be the oil pressure sensor. So hopefully my oil pump's not too bad. But I mean, when something sits for a long time, you know, like, things get funky. So I can imagine I'm going to see weird things for the first few weeks. Weird things out of a Dodge. I know, a Dodge. But if I can get rid of this light, this one I don't really care about. That one I'd like to know what codes are there. But that's my battery charging. So I'm going to leave the battery hooked up. And I'm going to try it later today. And if the battery's dead, then I'll know I have parasitic drain. But that could be a cause of parasitic drain if that sensor nub is there. Fuel gauge is good. Temperature just almost to half. It takes a little while to warm up, but I am low on coolant and the oil is low. The oil being low wouldn't make it that much of a difference for it taking a while to heat up. Heater works. Doesn't blow like my Ford does, but it works. So it defrosted the windshield this morning and it worked. And the throttle body, I guess just by using it, it was probably just sticky from sitting. That sounded healthy. You know, the tick is from the exhaust, but it's not obscenely loud, so. But can you hear those lifters? The valves? Yeah. This truck does pick up pretty good. I only took it up to 100 today. You know, I don't break the speed limit with it, but I wanted to kind of clear it out a bit. So, and it gets up there, like, you really got, this truck is not like my other truck, where it gets up to speed pretty good, but this thing is like, you're just there. It's like, holy jeez. I can see, and you don't notice it. Like, if you're not paying attention, you could speed very easily with this thing, and you could lose your license very easy with this thing. But that's the thing with a 5.7 liter Hemi. It's not the biggest engine in the world, and this is a heavy truck, but it's still a big motor. So fluids, I guess, is my next thing on the list. Oil change, whatever. I topped up the power steering last night. It made it to where I went and back, so I'll check how much the level went down in that little drive. Everything feels good in the steering. My only thing that I gotta get is just refine the brakes a little bit more. So today's Remembrance Day, so to all the veterans that served and stuff like that, you know, moment of silence for them. It's not their fault a lot of times ending up where they end up, so, you know, gotta forgive that. And support people that are, you know, they're not the masterminds, we'll just say that. But I'll leave it at that. So today, I'm not going to make it to the ceremony. By the time I take the shower and everything, it's 11 o'clock now. The 11th day, the 11th hour, so there's no way I could make it there. It'll just be ending by the time I get there. So, but the worst is the whole town saw me drive by, and this is the first year I didn't make it to the memorial, except for last year when they canceled it. But at least I still went late, went laid the wreath and all that. But the thing is, this year is like what happened is a client called and they wanted to. I guess I'm gonna shut this off. Wanted to get some leaves raked and stuff this morning, and it was supposed to rain tomorrow. So I said, yeah, we'll do it Thursday. And I didn't realize it landed on this day. Otherwise, I would have done it yesterday. So my bad. But anyway, yeah, that's just kind of where the cookie crumbles sometimes. And yeah. So hopefully the town won't hate me too much for not, coming by, because that will be weird for them. They were usually Reg is here taking pictures all the time, But yeah, ended up working. But yeah, I was done just at the right time that I wouldn't have enough time to go down there because it's 10 after 11 now. Jump in the shower, whatever, get cleaned up. You get there and they're just ending the ceremony. The ceremony's not very long, right? So about an hour, but is what it is. So yeah, so that's so today this thing didn't pay itself off, but it made me $40. So a little more than a 1/100th of what I got to make on it to break even. But yeah, it got me there, got me back. So yeah, yesterday it was that lightning bolt. Yeah, I thought it was an alternator thing, but it's not. It's this is your battery charger, okay? And the alternator thing, there is a battery light like that comes up somewhere on this dash, I can imagine. And everything works. I got the signals, the dash all works. But that, I think, was just because the throttle bodies were sticky. But I noticed today the truck is running a lot smoother. It has that signature hesitant Dodge start, whether it's warm out or cold out. So you gotta, it's not boom like the Ford or like the little Hondas, my Hondas or whatever, but it starts, right? So I'm gonna test it for parasitic drain. I'm gonna see if I can clear some of these dash lights. I don't have a code reader or nothing like that to check, but at least it's a start. I'm gonna check all the rear diff oil, not this coming week, whenever there's a dry day, just to see what I have. I definitely got to make a run, but I'm going to keep this thing close to home for the first, say, week or so, just going easy with it. But I got to get the brake. There's definitely a bubble in there, so the brakes are good. They come on. It's just they don't come on. I know this is not a race car, but there's I want, like, right there when you pump the pedal there. Okay, that's what I want. And I want it to stay like that. So that air bubble, wherever it is, it's just creating just enough slack that it's not quite, and it's a safety issue. So I got brakes and I got full brakes. Like when the brakes hit, when the brakes catch, you're going to kiss the dash if you do it too fast. But I want to, like, as soon as you touch the pedal, the truck starts slowing down, but they're not biting. You know what I mean? The brakes are not biting because of that little air bubble that's in there. So it's just a matter of bleeding the brakes. Because like you say, oh well, they're fine, you can live with that. Not when you're coming down a big hill with a load. Because no matter how good your brakes are, when you're on level ground, brakes are fine. But when you're coming down a hill, you got gravity working against you. Your brakes lose probably about 10% effectiveness just doing that. Add metal, they probably lose about 50% effectiveness. So meaning you're going to take twice the distance to stop. Just arbitrary. I don't know if that's what it would do, but you know what I mean? You're going to need more distance to stop. So your brakes have to come on sooner and they have to be stronger. There can't be any slack in there. So, but that is what it is. And yeah, so that's one. So at least it's starting to make me money. So it's a long way before it's paid itself off, and the season's going to slow down. But I got a little bit of a thing to do throughout the winter, so I won't be getting paid every week, but I'm going to get a lump sum in the spring. So whatever that makes me, it'll make me. The gas pump was down again, out of gas again. I still got a quarter tank, but I'm going to keep it around home. So the next time I fill up, so I'm already started. $20 for gas, $20 for repairs or towing or whatever. How much do you save? Well, as much as you can. Get ahead of everything so you're never strapped for money, especially a big truck like this. I have no idea what kind of mileage it's going to get. There's about 230,000 miles on this engine. So the engine isn't really that far broken in, really. I mean, it's about half life. Well, broken in, obviously, but it's about half life. So There's actually less mileage on this than on my Ford, and my Ford's like 340 or 240. The CRV is like 500,000, 450,000, whatever it's at. It's ridiculous. That thing just runs and runs and runs. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that's good. It's a good start. So there's still some quirky things happening as I get the bugs out of it. But that little run there, especially on the way home, it like you could tell like the truck, the more I run it, the better it's going to run. But yeah, the throttle body does probably need to be cleaned. But we'll get into that in other videos and whatever. Yeah, there we go. That's one day of work for this thing. Finally, after 4 months of owning it, day one. Yeah, there we go.